I want to start this video. I just thought, what can I name this video? And I just want to say Turkey started opening its wing. Why? Because we have forecasted on the 5th of August 2019 that the Turkey is required to define its maritime border, not only in Mediterranean Sea, but even in Hormoz Strait, in Red Sea, in Indian Ocean, even in the China Sea. Because Turkey's interest and economic interest dictates Turkey to declare its maritime interests globally. And we have seen and we have always considered the Libyan agreement between Turkey and the Libyan Equatorial government in that regard. Now, world still has not understood really what this Libyan agreement construes. And we want to also respond some of our viewers' questions, especially on the military side of the Turkish possible military deployment to Libya in this video. So let's start. Turkey started opening its wings. Really, I mean, world has not understood what this Libyan agreement means, and also Turkey Parliament has decided on the 2nd of January 2020 has given license to a government to deploy military troops to Libya, and they are going to be sent. We were also forecasting that Turkey is compelled to send its military to Libya. Now, why? Of course, the first reason is, I will have to say, oil. Despite the fact that Turkey is seeking oil and gas in especially Mediterranean Sea and Black Sea, we haven't found so far as Israeli and Egypt has found. But in Libya, there is also an existing oil and gas refineries, especially oil refineries. And the Turkish deployment to Libya is going to ensure the safety of this logistics from Libya to Turkey. And I always mention that Turkey's interest or influence in the region doesn't constitute to invade the countries. It's to increase their influence so we can also access to cheap energy. Why? Because Turkey has been paying around $50 billion annually worldwide, especially $30 billion to Russia each year. This is a huge expense on the Turkish budget. If we can decrease it to a reasonable amount, the excessive parts can be used for the development of the Turkey in terms of economy and also development of military or defense industry. Now, this is the first reason. The Libya has already ready energy access to us, and we need to ensure it. So in order to ensure it, we have to protect the safety of the Tripoli by deploying the military troops over there. I do not believe that the military troops are there for operational purposes or for war, but only to protect Tripoli and around Tripoli. So that's why, in order to be posing threat and deter their willingness and Haftar's willingness, this should be more than twice of their size. So if we consider the Haftar size around between 3,000 to 5,000 soldiers or fighters, including the ones like the 1,000 maybe around people from Wagner group from Russia, and including the Sudan fighters, we do believe that the Turkish deployment might be in around 10,000 soldiers, which is going to more like to protect the region within Tripoli and around Tripoli. So the time that we are going to buy in this deployment will be used to train the Libyans or the Libyan soldiers, and then they are going to be put in the front line in order to gain territorial advantages for future. That's the first thing. The second reason why Turkey it's important for Turkey with to keep the Tripoli government alive is because Turkey has 65 to 70% borders offshore. we require to ensure our maritime and trade freely with any countries. So the Greeks, the Cypriots, the Greek Cypriots, the Greece, Egypt, Israel, and others try to take the Mediterranean as their own swimming pool, and Turkey wasn't happy about this. That's why we need to make an alignment or align with another country, and it was Libya in that regard, so that we can ensure that we have an agreed maritime doctrine with Libya. So the maritime doctrine with Libya cuts through any pipeline between or from Cyprus to Europe. Now, and this agreement has been submitted to UN officially, and which means that Turkey has all the rights to protect its border now. Now that's a problem now. So now, while Turkey is going to deploy the military in Libya, we have to see how this is going to be done. Now, in order to do this, President Erdogan since 2000 was trying to do something else, and he has achieved to some level, but not all, that he has to unite the country. So in order to unite the country, he has changed the administration type of Turkey. So we had a parliamentary system. Now we don't have that parliamentary system, but we have a presidency system. So he gathered all the power under his hand. While he was doing this, he was doing something very wrong, and that's what I am afraid. That's what we are going to see as a really major great disadvantage in future in Libya. Is that he divided the Turks into two, like the ones that believes me, the ones that and others, any others, by the way. And now the military deployment in Libya has the risk of retaliation by Haftar forces. What does it mean? I am sure that Haftar and like Egypt, Saudis, and United Arab Emirates, and others who is not aligned with Turkey, or see Turkey as a major rival, is going to see that the Turkish domestic politics is divided into two: the supporters of Erdogan and anyone who doesn't support him. That means that whenever we are going to see the Turkish military soldiers that increasing in numbers, that's going to increase unrest in Turkey. It's granted. And once it's going to increase, granted, Erdogan's popularity at this moment is around 40-45%, is going to start decreasing. So in order to remain in the administration, he has to do something then. And for that reasons, the capability of our military in Libya in future might be then reduced. That's the thing that I see as a major risks for Turkish military over there in Libya. Of course, the Turks have advantage in technology, of course, in discipline and the military capability. That's no question over there. And any war between Haftar and Turks over there, no question Turkey is going to win. But the real problem is going to be the domestic politics for that. Despite the fact that the Turkish parliament has agreed the military agreement, the Turkish opposition parties do not support any deployment to Libya. And that's the main problem that Erdogan is going to have. The second issue that I want to raise as a major big success is the development of the Turkish defense industry. That's what gives us a rise to deploy our military in Libya. The unmanned air vehicle, we have Bayraktar and many different types of Bayraktar, of course, and we can now manufacture our own submarines, aircraft, or even we have now aircraft carriers. We are now under construction. I think 2021 it will be constructed and also commissioned, and our own air fighters, we have finished design. Now we are trying to develop the engine, and the helicopters, different types, our own tank, and missiles, and air defense systems. All of them are really, if not accomplished like 100%, it has been accomplished greatly, and it's a great success for Turkey that gives the major rise to Turkey and the courage to deploy the military forces to Libya. That is a major success. That's why with all these things, Turkey also will see or will have this opportunity to, I would say, market its own military equipments internationally, in international area. So the success is very important for Turkey in that regard. So if this is going to be successful, and our projection already shows that Turkey is, if we are right, let's say, and we consider it might be, Turkey is not going to be there for fighting directly with Haftar, unless Haftar really wants to fight directly. But I'm sure that Haftar's forces is going to conduct operations, covers of operations to Turkish assets over there in order to increase the debts, tolls. So that will give a cause of unrest in Turkey, and that will be his main, I will say, strategy. Otherwise, he has no strategy. None of them has a strategy, because Turkish army is really strong compared with any others in Libya. So that's why we are thinking that the Turkish army will be there. We will train the Libyan soldiers, and by time we will help them to gain territorial advantages in Libya. So this war, that means like Turkey is going to be there like at least 3 to 5 years to 10 years. It's granted Turkey is going to be there. That's why it's very important for the world to understand that we opened the wings. That's why the wing is now opened, and really that's why we have to understand that Turkey's intention to stay in Libya is not for short term, but in, I would say, long term. So what might happen, of course, if our projections will come true, this means like in 3 to 5 years we expect this I would say war to be concluded or completed, finished and ended, let's say. And how this is going to end, it depends on how the other countries is going to support Haftar. As we said, we are expecting some around 8 to 10,000 Turkish soldiers, including all the supporting and administration team over there in Libya, to be deployed in total. And this is going to more or less ensure the security of Tripoli and around Tripoli, and we will give rise to and others in future to train all these the Libyan soldiers over there. Let's see what will happen. But as we said, Turkey has opened its wings, and we think Turkey will be like 5 to 10 years in Libya from now on. If you like this button, there's a like button underneath, please press on it. And if you subscribe yourself to our channel, we will appreciate that. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.